Okay, adjusting some of my sound levels here. So we're going to do some artwork tonight, which will be nice, I think. That should be pretty good. So we have a thing in the game now where it'll change the scene depending on where it is your characters are. So this is actually every combat scene layered, and now it's only playing the mountain one, which is pretty cool. Pretty happy with this, the way this turned out. But I need to make 2 more scenes, so that's what I'm going to focus on tonight. I got about 40 minutes to work tonight, so I'll try to do that tonight. But yeah, pretty happy with the way that this has turned out so far. We will have to do some stuff to hook that up later, but most of tonight's going to be artwork, which will be nice. So let's just get probably the road turned on. We'll turn everything else off. I think I need to have them all turned on to get it to work, but that's something we can worry about later. Okay, so that would be the road is the only thing that's turned on. So we need to get planes, and there was something else I needed to build out. I wonder if I have it in my Trello. It's always good to have a Trello for your projects. Let's see here. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, definitely need planes here. It's not on there. And then there was something else I was missing that we need to add on. I guess they'll just hopefully come to me later. Well, we definitely need to build those planes out. So it's probably going to be very similar to our water scene, or our river scene, I guess. So with this scene, let's see if it'll play. I wonder if this is going to break it. No, it's going to a scene that doesn't exist. Um, so with this scene, it's going to make it hard for testing, isn't it? I have to maybe fix something later, but you can see that it's got that watery kind of look to it, but there's still things that are interesting that are going on, so that's probably going to be what we're going to be focusing on tonight, I think. Something similar to that. I've got some music playing, but you can't hear it because I just went ahead and just turned off everything so I could port this out to YouTube later and not have it get copyrighted. So this will probably be pretty boring to watch. So I guess if you're watching this later, just throw on some music and there you go, as we're working on stuff. Okay, so I actually have a separate screen now for scripts. So I might just take a look at that real quick as I'm trying to figure out how to add on some stuff here. So we'll flip over there real quick. Next, if I probably just do a find in files, I could probably get what I need. We need to find mountain, because that's the one that keeps coming up. Yeah. So what we can do to kind of like soft hack this, and I kind of want this one to be there first anyways. Okay, so here we go. Planes. Planes is our default because it ends up being the first one. So I can just soft hack that to be first and then create one that's called planes. River, ocean, forest. Oh, I need to make a forest. Okay, so we need a, I'm going to put that on my Trello just so I don't forget it later. That's not what we wanted. All right. So we need to make a forest and we need a plains. So we're working on plains tonight, and maybe if we get to it, we'll get to forest. Oh, what happened? There we go. It's always nice to check things off of a list too, right? So in order to kind of soft hack this, we're going to throw plains up on top here. And we'll get rid of this one down here. And that should be all I need to do that, but we do need to add a component, so we're going to make a new empty. Actually, what we're going to do is duplicate the road one, and we're going to get rid of the terrain out of it, and then re-add our own terrain, and then change the parameters on it slightly and do a whole bunch of things. So let's get to work, right? So first things first. The nice thing about duplicating this is we'll get all the components with it. You can control D or you can duplicate it just like the way what I just did there. Okay, we're going to change this to say plains. And then the way we have it coded, I believe it's searching for this name, so hopefully that'll work. And make sure that this is going to be annoying having to flip back and forth between the things. Let's see if that fixed it. No. Oh, plains. That would be why. So there's on the component itself, it's got a designator that tells you what it is. All right, now it should work. Sweet. All right, so probably not too much on the coding side of things tonight, which should be nice for people that are actually watching this. So like I said before, the terrain we have here, if we change anything with this terrain, it'll change this terrain. So we actually need to just completely delete this terrain out. So we're going to do that now. All the objects will remain though. The trees that I have are not using the Unity tree components. The other terrain is still showing because it's turned on, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And we need to re-add another terrain, so we'll right-click over here and add a new terrain. Terrain. Okay, you notice that the terrain is like way off from where we want it to be. We don't want it to be in that location, but I'm going to go ahead and fix a parameter first, and then we'll fix the location of it. So first things first is my terrain that I've got over here. We can check the parameters on it. It's 200, 200, which is the width and the length. So I'm going to go ahead and change that first. I'm going to go ahead and move it up to where it was in the other one. Another thing about the terrain object itself is it creates a terrain object in your assets, which you can rename. If we wanted to, we could rename it so that way it matches. Sometimes I do that. Let's just, but let's go back. Kind of getting myself distracted right now. Okay, 500 is not going to be way too big, so you can see that's pretty massive. We don't need it to be that big, so we're just going to change it to 200 on each. Bam. So there we go. Got that. Next, we need to change the location of it. So we'll come in here and we will copy this component, which is basically its position in space, its transform. And we'll go over here and paste it right in there, paste component values. And we have everything right where we need it to start working here. This is going to be more of a plains. And so the way I envision this is It'll be nice and rolling terrain. You'll be able to see pretty far, but the trees maybe we'll put some trees on one side, and then the other sides will be more rolling to give a feeling like the camera isn't that far. So go ahead and take our trees and we just move them all pretty far away. So let's just move those pretty far away right now. Let's see here. Where's the rest of our trees? I have my trees in kind of a funny way, set up in a funny way here. Yeah. In fact, we could probably just throw these in a corner for now. Now, the only thing about doing this terrain the way that I'm doing it is that you have to reset the textures on all of it. So we're going to do that right now as well. There's plenty of tutorials on this. My computer's saying high CPU usage. Doesn't like all this craziness I've got going on. Maybe I should try some Pandora instead. It's too much stuff going on. Yeah, I'll swap over to Pandora. I should really just start paying for Pandora. That's probably what I should do. Or I could always throw together my own playlist and just play that instead. Come on, Pandora. Start it up. No, it's not playing. There we go. And turn it down just a little bit. I wonder if it auto-tweeted me or not. Yeah, I need to tweet out the fact that I'm doing my game development here. I have a notification. This takes it forever to catch up. All right, so let's see, where were we? We're gonna put some material on here. So we'll go over to the material widget. So we call these widgets, right? And right now we have no texture added, so we're gonna add a texture, and I've got tons of stuff we have to search through. Luckily, I've done this like quite a few times now, so we're gonna get some nice grass. I'm a big fan of this CR green grass because it just has some nice color to it. So we're gonna get that for sure. And as soon as we add this, it's gonna do the whole terrain. Also, I sized my stuff down so I know it's all size 2. That's just something you're gonna have to kind of know about your own project. And so there we go. We've got some terrain. It's got some depth to it. It looks pretty mechanical the way it is, so we're gonna have to do some things to kind of break it up, but that's okay. Let's add some more grass textures here. We probably won't have any road, so we probably won't need that. Let's see, this is just CR green grass. Yeah, so I think this one goes with that one. It's probably a better way to do this, but I kind of wish that the terrain system was a little bit more intuitive, where I could add multiple terrains more quickly and easily, or copy them, or do something. but this is what you have to do. Because I've already done this many times. But there's probably a reason for it. Maybe it's like an optimization thing, or who knows. Cartoon forest grass. I guess we can do that. I'm a big fan of this one. We probably won't actually use it. I kind of wonder if it matters if I put it on here and then it doesn't get used. I wonder if that also takes up resources. I don't think it would. I don't know that I'm going to need any rocks, really. Let's look up ground. Definitely won't need any stone path. Maybe something like this would be fine to have available. This ground too. And again, some of this is just, by this time I've got it memorized. Kind of like what I've got here, just making sure, get everything sized properly. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to need anything else from here. I think we should be fine with what we've got here. We could take a look at what it looks like right now as far as the ground. It's going to be very, I mean, it's not horrible, but it definitely could use a lot of work. We get the trees really far in the background. They're kind of floating. They probably aren't set on the ground, but at least we got everything else kind of started. Probably won't use that well. We could probably delete that completely. Let's just go ahead and delete that out of there. The trunk lumber's fine. That should be fine. The rock should be fine. Yeah. So the main thing is probably just having some nice shallow rolling hills is going to be what we're going to want here. So maybe we'll do some more terrain stuff here. I'm a big fan of these scatter ones. I think that those ones help out a lot. Opacity, brush size. Make the brush size pretty big. Yeah. Big fan of this kind of, we'll kind of break it up a little bit here. Kind of just build it up a little bit. Use some of this one. Make this area maybe a little bit lighter. Towards the forest, maybe make things a lot darker. Yeah. We got some rock, you know, maybe just smatter that in a little bit here and there. Some places would be like really, maybe put the rocks, maybe put a bunch of rock over here where that's just really rocky and there's some dirt, you know, go along with it. Maybe make this one a little bit more grass oriented. Looks not that great from this aerial view, but it'll probably look fine when we start getting up closer. I think this might already look kind of a lot better. Yeah, maybe I need to hit more around where they are though. Okay. Yeah, I think I need to be a little bit more focused on where they are here. Yeah, it's... I'm humming the music that nobody can hear. Definitely going to move some of these rocks around though. So let's move those and make them maybe a little bit more interesting. Do, 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 do. Well. I'm a big fan of like just being very like move one piece at a time type of thing and just kind of build things up, you know. Probably need to rotate this guy a little bit just to be a little bit more interesting. Let's actually put this one way over here somewhere. Yeah. Of course, this isn't the final resting place of a lot of these. I guess I'm just kind of trying to get a good feel for what it's going to be like if they were all on the ground where they're supposed to be. But I need to build up those rolling hills pretty soon here. Ooh, I like how big this one is. Yeah, something like that makes it a little bit more interesting. This one we're going to put right up alongside another one. I like the rocks because you can kind of stack them and create more interesting rocks that way. And that also is going to hopefully lead people to believe that they're different rocks instead of being duplicated rocks and very mechanical, you know. Oh, they're all on that one lead rock. Well, that's a problem. So we need to make a rock object. Rock objects. Let's go ahead and make an empty. And we'll call this one rocks. And then we'll move all the rocks underneath that one. So they were all parented to this one, which means if I were to move this one, it would have screwed up everything I just did. So now what I've done is parent them on an empty object, so that way I can move them around freely, and I don't have to worry about screwing up everything that just happened. Okay, and then that's actually probably going to go closer to where the woods are. Let's actually put that over where we can kind of tell a little bit of a story, you know, with this. We can put this over with these trees way over here, and that way it's more like, you know, there were trees over here, but they chopped a bunch of them down. That's why there aren't as many now. Yeah, like that. Kind of being lazy with the trees right now. I'm not going to be doing too much with them anyways, so. Am I in the right thing? Oh, that's the other one. I gotta make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Yeah, there's all the trees. There's the other trees. There's the other ones. Actually, let's spin them like that. So that way we have lots of coverage. And we'll put them kind of close to those ones. See what that looks like. So we're building up these planes. Ooh, it's so much nicer, right? Yeah. Now we can kind of see the corners and it's very flat in the distance. So we're going to be kind of working on that with the rolling hills and stuff. And we kind of have like a mini, forest over here. We might even put a mountain on one side of this, but it's mostly open plains is what we're looking for. Okay, so probably next we're gonna work on those rolling hills. Let's see here. So we probably want a very specific height. 2 might be okay. Let's get really close to where we're gonna be and see what that looks like. We're gonna change this to a small brush and make sure it's not too crazy. And that's as big as it gets, which is fine with me. That's good. That's great actually. So now I can kind of maybe do something like that and make a really big brush. And then just kind of do this, and we'll smooth some of this out a little bit later. Okay, and then we'll smooth it out. So you never know how much smoothing it's going to do when you change the opacity up pretty high. There we go, that's a lot better. This is one of those things I kind of don't do in a fine way. I just mostly try to hit really large areas. Alright, let's see what that kind of feels like, looks like. Yeah, now we have still plains, but we have a little bit more actual like hills and things, which adds to it a lot. Their feet ended up in the ground, so we're gonna fix that, but otherwise I'm kind of like him. I like this mini little hill right here. We're gonna have to take it all the way down to 0, so we'll take this thing back, zoom that back in, and we'll take the height down to 0. There we go. And let's see what that feels like, looks like. Yeah, there we go. Okay, to make it a little bit more interesting, we're going to go ahead and add in some fields, some grain field type things. And I think we're getting close to being done with this actually, which is nice. Might actually finish before our time tonight, which is good. I do kind of want to add a little bit of rocky stuff around where the rocks are. So let's do that first here. Take the size down a bit. Maybe something a little bit more like that. And brush and rocks. Yeah. Maybe take the opacity down just a little bit. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I want it to be rocky, but not too much. Yeah, there we go. Now we got a little bit of rockiness where the rocks are. I have a lot of rockiness way over here. Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we did before. Add in a grass texture. Now I found with this, I actually had to make these a 1 to make them look reasonable for my stuff. I don't have a lot of options here. Probably use... Try to see one that we've got. I don't know that we even have a texture for it. Yeah, I think this is pretty much it. So we've got that grass. And why not? We're going to want as much stuff as we can get to have available for this. I don't know if I can do floats with this or not. So something interesting about this is it's actually going to change the color of it depending on what it is. So we actually have to go back and change this color to that blue, which is kind of funny. So get a healthy color is that, and maybe a unhealthy color would be maybe a darker, yeah, something like that. Otherwise, it'll be the wrong thing. I think I'm out of. Well, we got this one. Actually, let's also try to match the color on this one. It's a little bit of a darker green. And then instead is be like maybe more like that. And then we got this one, maybe kind of like that. Maybe more that. Okay, so fun part now, right? Get to try it out. Now we don't want to have too much where the players are going to be standing. Just make sure they're all one. Make sure they're all size 1. Okay, good. But we definitely will want some in the background. Now I wonder if this is going to be this is going to hurt my processing overall. That looks kind of like a mess. Maybe I should change the color on those. Yeah, it's too dark. Let's try change that up just a little bit. Maybe lighten that up a bit. There we go, it's much better. So the grass is there, it just doesn't even show it. Okay. I think I just need to bring in some of the grass like where it's on top of them, but it can't be too overwhelming, that's the thing. Hmm. I like parts of this. I feel like we could still work on it. I feel like maybe I need to thin some of this out a bit. I have to hold shift to erase. So maybe if I do some of that and thin some of this out here. It'll make things a lot better overall. It's very much what it is, right? You add things, you remove them, you kind of draw things back a little bit. Yeah, it definitely felt like it was way too thick. Some of this stuff probably doesn't matter that much because it's too far away to be seen by the camera. That's how it is in my city that I built. Like things are so far away that the lights don't get seen in a lot of places. If anything, this will add some more randomization to the scenes where it's like it'll feel a little bit more organic, hopefully. I'm just kind of clicking, just quick clicking to control this because if I click and hold, it'll go too fast for me to control. So I'm trying to use that to give me a good feel for what's going on here. So that way I can kind of stop anytime. I definitely like the way that this is thinned out a bit more now. I think that feels a lot better. Let's see. It's going to be a little bit more distinctive. We still have a thick area right here. You can see pretty far. I'm going to have to fill in the back a little bit here. I like the way this is looking though, overall. The only thing about the grass is it kind of stretches a little bit as it's moving with the little wind zones. Yeah, we're going to have to fill in the back just a little bit more here. Make sure the opacity is way down here. I think the main problem was on this side. I'll fill it out a little bit more in a minute, but I think hopefully that should be good. Oh yeah, there we go. Now you really get a feel for just the vastness of the plains of the tall grass. The only thing I could do to add more to this would be like to have some like animals like jumping around in the background. Okay, I do think I want a mountain in one area here. So I'm gonna put it over here, I think. So let's go ahead and raise this terrain. This will really vary things up, which will be nice. We'll retexture this as well. It probably won't be seen, but just in case, for some reason. Go and smooth everything out here. Big fan of this smoothing tool. Yeah, this is kind of just a high hill is really all this is, really, at this point. Yeah, it's a bit much. Turn my opacity down. Let's go ahead and get some scatter. Like I said, this probably won't matter that much. I feel like I just keep, maybe I just need to turn my opacity way down. I keep doing the opposite of what I want to do here. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's see how that feels. Yeah, there's that hill in the background. I like that. Yeah, that's a good solid plains. The thing about the plains is a lot of places are going to be plains, and so it kind of really needs to be good. I don't know that this is great. I might have to revisit it, or, I mean, it's good. It's not great. I wonder if I should put some, maybe I could put some trees over on that mountain, and that would help out a bit, or maybe in some other places. Or maybe I could add some more rolls to these hills. Maybe add some 3 on the background here. Maybe that would help a bit. Some 3-level terrain. Smooth it out. See if that feels a little bit better. Yeah, I kind of like that. The big thing is if there's a straight edge, it's going to be very noticeable in those backdrops, in those really far away locations. All right, well, with that, I think I'm going to call it here. I feel pretty good about that. I always save, right? So save a scene. I could test the game